Hello everyone, Larry Satchwell here, in the shop again today. It's been a minute since I've made a woodworking project, but I want to make a step stool for Eli. This is not my design. I was flipping through Google and saw this picture. I took a screenshot of it, but it didn't have any dimensions and it didn't say who made it. So if this is your design, please let me know and I will give you credit for it. I hate stealing people's ideas, but I thought this was a really cool, modern looking step stool. I've already made step stools for Kate, Julia, and Jacob. I haven't made one for Killian yet. And I also made a stool helper for Eli, but he's outgrown that a long time ago. So he can use this. His favorite thing right now is to make sourdough bread. So he can stand at the counter there with his mom and knead the bread. He loves doing that. He can also use this to help him brush his teeth, things like that. So I've got it laid out here, and I'm pretty happy with the design. These are two cherry panels that I already had glued up. I don't know what I glued them up for. I cut them to this size, 13 inches by 15 and a quarter roughly, and you'll see the rest of the dimensions there. I'll put a little bit longer video at the end in case you want to copy those dimensions down. It wasn't hard to set up. The next thing I want to do is to tape this together so I can cut it out as one unit. There are some hidden biscuits in here. I don't know where they are, so I'm hoping they won't interfere with the looks of this, because this is the only cherry I've got glued up, and I'm in a time crunch. Well, I'm back. It's been a minute. I can't believe how busy life can be. Anyway, when I got this off of the bandsaw, I realized that this was not very straight, and it's end grain, and it was not very smooth, and I didn't have a great tool to sand it with. So I kind of scratched my head and went up for another cup of coffee and opened my emails, and this bit was on sale. So I jumped on it. It said woodpecker bit. I don't normally purchase things from woodpecker because I just can't afford it, but this is a massive bit, very, very sharp, and I'm going to give it a lot of respect. So what I've done here is I've masked this off. I made a quick jig here out of just some scrap plywood. I super glued this on using CA glue, and I don't really trust it. I don't want this bit to come flying anywhere. I'm going to keep my hands way away from it. But to compensate for that, I'm going to CA glue the legs to it, and just like that, and use this. I only have to remove a 1/16th to a 32nd of an inch to get this completely smooth, and this bit's going to do that very nicely for me. Because my parameters are so small here, I'm going to use this gap-filling CA glue. Put a nice bead, sawdust out of the way, all the way across here. But I'm not going to use any accelerator. I need a second or two to place this, and the accelerator would not give me that time. I'm really happy with that. I'm going to use this weight. This is just off the base of an old microphone. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to give this a few minutes to dry. Probably doesn't take that long, but I do respect that router bit. Get your finger caught in that router bit. They have nothing to sew back on. That felt safe, and it went extremely well. I have double-sided tape but I don't trust it in this application. That is just really smooth. Got a little wormhole in here. That's not Rotter-Bit's fault. All right, I've got the same situation up here on this grain, and this grain runs crazy, and I want this to be flat too. So I've got three situations here. I just want to reconfigure this. So I'm ready to go here. I still have this square back here, so I put a reference line here so that I can follow that reference line and get this lined up and it's still straight. That last operation felt really safe. And so now that I have everything exactly the same, since the steps step inside here, I want to round off every corner. Every edge on this is going to get a round off with this, I believe it looks to be like an 3/8 of an inch round over. Might be a 1/2 inch round over, but it's not going to round it a lot. But it's time to do that before I sand again. This is one of the original Craig jigs. There's, I think, 4 or 5 models or editions since this one. But this one works for me. Ready for some assembly. Everything's sanded to 220. I've got the Craig screws ready. These are the fine threads because this is a hardwood. There's no glue here. I don't want to glue this yet. I have these spacers under here to give me the reveal. I wanted it up on the top. So I'm ready to put these screws in. This is just up here as a spacer to keep this square. I'll be taking this off in a few minutes. So I didn't screw it all the way in, but I did take the other shelf off and spread these apart because I'm hoping I can do this without getting glue all over the walnut. And you can see here I can put these in pretty easily right now, and it keeps the glue away. So once these are in place, then I can take this spreading clamp off and screw these in. And these are, I am going to put glue on. I am not relying on these to hold up that step, nor am I relying on those. So I'm going to be putting some blocks under here. But right now, I just want to get this where it needs to be without getting glue all over everything, because this is just going to get an oil finish on it. And that glue is going to be really hard to get off. So I'm going to set these in from each side 3/8 of an inch. Now I should be able to take the pressure off of this and have those come back. With this first step, I had to take a little bit different approach. Instead of measuring it off of this, I've got a couple little spacer blocks here that are right where I want it. Everything's solid, and then since this is the square, I measured both sides from there, and that's exactly where it belongs. So now I can apply the clamps to all of these and screw those in. Well, here it is, the finished product. I gave it a couple of coats of tung oil the last couple of days. I didn't bother filming the installing this bottom step. It's just more screwing in and doing that kind of thing. I ended up putting 3 blocks under each step. The middle one is glued to both the sides, the grain's going the right way, and to the top. That will allow the top to give it some movement. This is an oil tongue finish, so if it wears out, it'll be real easy for Brandon to put some more on. He's a pretty handy guy. Uh, I know you've heard me say this 100 times. This is the cherry from his great great grandfather's farm. It was a panel I had glued up. It's been kicking around the shop for years, literally years. Probably was going to be a duck's top or maybe even the side to a dresser. I don't know. I ran out of time, enthusiasm, or whatever. But it's now in use. The walnut I purchased recently when I was making a urn for my brother's funeral. This is not the piece of wood I used for that. I bought a couple different pieces in case I messed up the first one. So walnut and cherry, Craig Jake. Oh, by the way, these were screwed in. The steps were screwed in just so I could glue up the rails here. There's no screws in the steps at all. So there you have it. Eli's step stool. Hope he gets a lot of use out of it. Thanks for watching.